Good morning, students. Today we will start with the topic energy. Energy actually is the capacity to do work. The more energetic you are, the more you will work. So, as we have done the topic work in the previous video, in which I have told you, if work is done on the body, it means if we are doing some work on the body, as for example, if I'm lifting a body from one place to another place, right? So I'm doing work on that body. That work is being stored in the body in form of energy. So we can say that if work is done on the body, its energy is going to increase. Why? Because that much amount of work is stored in the body in form of energy only. And reverse of it, if work is done by the body, its energy is going to decrease. That is 2, because work to be done by the body, it will takes energy from the body itself, right? So we can say that there is a relationship between work and energy. More is the energy in the body, the more amount of work is done by the body, right? So here is a point to note down that work done on a body in changing its state is said to be the energy possessed by the body. So whatever amount of work is done on a body, that much same amount of work done is being stored in the body in form of energy, right? For example, let us consider a body at position A, and I'm going to move this body from position A to another height, position B. Now, in order to shift it from A to B, I have to do some work on this body against the force of gravity. As I told you in the previous video also, force of gravity means actually the weight of the body, which is equivalent to the mass into gravity, right? So I have to do work against this force of gravity in order to shift it from A to position B. So that much amount of work is being stored in this body whenever it reaches to point B, that is stored in the body in form of potential energy. So that is the reason we used to say that whenever it shifts from position A, lower position, to the higher position, the body will possess potential energy. Another example, if we will set a body which is initially at rest, let us consider a case of the ball which is initially at rest. If I'm going to set up this ball into motion, I'm going to do some work on it, I'll push it, I'm doing work on the body in order to set this ball into motion. So that much work I'm doing in order to set this ball into motion, that is being stored in the ball in form of kinetic energy, because it will come into the motion whenever I make it into motion. It has some kinetic energy that is due to the work done by me on the ball, right? Now the unit of energy, SI unit of energy is joules, represented by a symbol capital J. We have done the definition of 1 joule for the work done. Now we have to write the definition of energy, that is 1 joule for case of energy. And for energy, a body is said to possess an energy of 1 joule if it can do 1 joule work, or if 1 joule work is done on the body, right? But that is different from the definition of 1 joule for the work done. Next is the types of energy. As we know that our universe is made up of two things only. First is the matter and second is the energy. So we have different types of energies. For example, electrical energy, chemical, nuclear, thermal, hydro, solar, electromagnetic, sound energy, mechanical energy, and so on. Many more are there also. Sonic energy, right? So we have different types of energies, out of which we are going to study the most important one, that is the mechanical energy. Okay, mechanical energy is further divided into two categories. First is the potential energy, second is the kinetic energy. Potential energy is represented by either P dot E, or you can write it as capital U. Kinetic energy is represented as K dot E, or simply capital K, right? And the sum of the total kinetic energy and total potential energy of the body gives you the total mechanical energy of the system, right? So now first we will start with the potential energy. What is this potential energy? Actually, it is that amount of energy possessed by a body due to change in its position or due to its elastic deformation. For example, I gave you an example of shifting a body from one position to the higher position. In that case, the body will possess potential energy due to change in position. Whenever we are doing work against the force of gravity, that is the case when the position is changing. But whenever we are going to change the shape or size of the body, that is the case of elastic deformation. For example, for elastic deformation, we can consider an example of the spring. If I'll compress this spring, what will happen? I have changed its shape, right? And if I'll remove the external force, what will happen to this? It will regain its original position. Why is it so? Because it will possess, whenever I'm going to do some work on the body in order to change its form or in order to change its shape or size of the body, I'm doing some work on it that is being stored in the spring in form of potential energy. And whenever I'm going to release the external force, that potential energy will allow the spring to regain its original shape, right? Because of that potential energy stored in the body, right? So this is the example for the elastic deformation. You can either compress it or you can either stretch it, both ways. So according to the definition of potential energy is divided further into two categories. First is the elastic potential energy. Second is the gravitational potential energy. Let us study these one by one. Elastic potential energy, as I gave you an example for the spring, it is the energy possessed by a body due to elastic deformation of the body. That is due to change in its shape or size of the body. That time the body will possess the energy which is known as the elastic potential energy. We have many more examples. First example I gave you of the spring, either you will compress it or you will stretch it, both ways. It is the example for the elastic potential energy. Second, stretched bow or right, or rubber band also. Then we have the gravitational potential energy. For this also I gave you an example. It is that energy possessed by a body due to change in its position. For example, if I'll give you an example, let us consider two positions here. I have made two positions. This is position A, this is position B at some higher height. So if I'll place the ball on the position A and I'm going to shift it to some higher position B, I need to do some work against the force of gravity. I'll lift it up and place it here. I have done some work. Right? So that work is being stored in the ball in form of gravitational potential energy. Why it is called gravitational potential energy? Because I have done work against the gravity. This is the reason it is known as the gravitational potential energy, right? We have many more examples, like stone placed at height is dropped on a nail fixed on a wooden piece. It drives the nail into it. Why? Because of that gravitational potential energy only, right? Another example of gravitational potential energy is the water at height has potential energy, which is used to turn a wheel in order to make electricity. Right? Now next is the expression for gravitational potential energy. For this, in order to derive the expression, let us consider a body of mass m on ground, and we are going to shift this body from ground to some height which is at h meters. Right? Mass of the body is small m, height is going to be h meters. Right? So we have to do some work on the body in order to lift it and shift it to the higher height in against the gravity. And we know that gravity is actually what? That is weight of the body which always acts vertically downward, which is equivalent to m into g. So this much amount of force is at least required to shift the body from the ground to height h meters. So force here we have required, that is equal to m into g newtons. And the distance we have taken here is h meters. So what is the amount of work done? We know the formula for the work done, that is equal to force into distance. force we have, distance we have. So put the values, we will get work done as mgh. So this work done against the force of gravity is stored in the body in form of potential energy. Hence you can write the potential energy as mgh, because these two are equivalent. Whatever amount of work you are doing on the body, that same amount is going to be stored in the body in form of potential energy. So it can be written as U potential energy is equals to mgh. So this is the relationship for the potential energy, right? Now the SI unit for potential energy. So this is energy. SI unit must be joules and represented as capital J. Now what are the factors affecting the potential energy? So in formula of the potential energy we have mgh, right? G is going to be approximately same except from poles to equator. So we have two factors on which potential energy depends. First is the mass of the body. It depends directly on the mass. So greater is the mass, greater will be the potential energy of the body. Second factor is the height above the ground. It is also depending directly on height. Higher is the height of the body, greater is the potential energy. As for example, I have given you to shift the body from lower height to the higher height. More is the height you are shifting, more will be the work you have to done, and more is the energy stored in the body, right? Next is the case we have kinetic energy. It is that amount of energy possessed by body due to its state of motion. Potential energy is due to the state of rest or change in position, or you can say change in the shape or size of the body. Next, kinetic energy is due to the motion in the body. If a body is in motion, it will possess kinetic energy. For example, a fast moving stone has capacity to break window pane. A falling hammer drive nail into wooden block. Flowing water, bullet fired from gun. All these are in motion, so they will possess kinetic energies. So if a body is initially at rest, is made to move, now we have to do work on the body, which gets stored in the body in form of kinetic energy. For example, this ball is at rest, I'm going to set this ball into motion. I have to do work, right? I have to do work on the body in order to set this into motion. So the amount of work I'm doing on the ball is stored in the body in form of kinetic energy. So as long as it will in motion, that time it will possess kinetic energy. Now the expression for the kinetic energy. What is this expression? We have kinetic energy equal to half mv square, where m denotes mass of the body, v denotes the speed or velocity of the body, right? Now the SI unit again remains the same, that is the joules, because it is also a form of energy, so its SI unit will be joules, represented as capital J. Now we are aware about the formula for the kinetic energy, that is half mv square. So we have two factors here affecting the kinetic energy of a moving body. First one is the mass of the body. Kinetic energy depends directly on the mass. It means more is the mass or more will be the kinetic energy of the body. Second factor is the speed of the body. Now see in the formula, kinetic energy is directly proportional to the v square. So greater is the velocity, greater will be the kinetic energy, but square of the previous velocity it will be. For example, if a body increases its speed from 2 meter per second to 4 meter per second. Now first this kinetic energy we have to find, second the final kinetic energy we have to find. So in this kinetic energy we will have half mv square. V is actually 2 meter per second square. So 2 square of 2, we will get 4. In this case, when it attains its velocity as 4 meter per second, then we will have kinetic energy half m4 square, that it will become 16. So it will increase to 4 times. Now 4 times of the previous kinetic energy, because we have v square in our formula, so the velocity is going to be square of the previous one, or right? Thank you so much.